All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone is having an amazing morning today. Good morning, Norm. How you doing? Hope you're feeling a lot better this morning. Hey, Norm, can you hear me? Check, check.
Excuse me. I cannot hear you, Carlos. I thought I was muted as well, but sorry for that. Obviously, I'm still not feeling great. Better than yesterday. You guys can hear Carlos? Give it a refresh, my man. You guys can hear Carlos? Been under the weather. I'm feeling a little bit better today. Sorry, guys. Give it a refresh, my man.
All right, here
I
we
hear
go.
you loud and clear now, buddy. Yep.
Excellent. All right, guys, let's get going. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone had a great day yesterday, and hope you're having a great morning today. So, Norm, hope you get better today, man. I could already hear you're not feeling as great.
Thanks, man.
Really hope you get better. One more day, and then we'll be in the weekend for some good rest. All right, guys. This is not my watch list. This is not what I had yesterday. This is the day before. So it looks like my dash did not save the watch list from yesterday. So how can I get that? All right, I'm going to try to remember. I know we traded.
You start filling in what you know, and I'll help you in just a second.
Yep. What did we have? We had AMD. I know that. We also
Qualcomm.
Qualcomm. Yep. And
AVRO.
yes, AVRO, CSX. How can we forget? Yep.
I think you had Ericsson, but you pulled it off, maybe.
Ericsson. Yep, I did have that. Actually, I traded Ericsson yesterday.
No, did you?
Yep.
AMD,
Roku, and then we have Fran as a possible low flow. I did not look at it, but I know that was active.
And did you have Tesla on there?
I did not, but you know what? We'll take a look at it. We'll see how it goes. I think this one, yeah, this was at least the majority here were on my final watch list yesterday. All right, guys. So we'll get into this list. Not sure why my DAS didn't save that. Usually does save my the day from the day before. Even when I X out, it keeps this the same. Maybe I closed it out differently. Anyways, let's get into it. So what do we have here? So what we have here? Okay, so let's start over with AMD. So AMD, let's get into the daily. So I didn't watch AMD closely yesterday. I believe this might have been one that I'd probably drop from my list. I only always watch 6, but a lot of you guys were looking at this one. It just again seemed very choppy. AMD at the pre-market also had very choppy pre-market action. Has some volume, not great, given the way AMD trades. But you can see here just a very choppy open, no direction really on which way you wanted to trade, up or down here. But as we talk about, once it settles in, it went in this really nice short trend here. Just started selling off nicely here. It looked like it was going to break out. And if you look at the 1 minute, I want to show you something here. And we had a great trade review yesterday with William at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you were in there for that, we reviewed some of the trades. And this was one of the trades that came up. Where here it looked like a really good long, right? You got higher highs, higher lows coming up here. It goes above VIA with some really good volume. This was a trade that I remember seeing this trade, but I didn't take because I was trading something else. And again, it looked like a really good long off the bounce here, but then it really doesn't get going unless you had a really good entry. You were not able to capitalize on this. Then it's just pure drop once it loses the moving average here. So we went over in details yesterday on this trade. So that was good to see. William does an amazing job with that. And then the markets, and we'll get into the SPY and how they traded. The markets just kind of sold off the entire day, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you can see here how that affected some of these stocks. AMD just kind of sold off for the rest of the morning after 11. So not really anything good towards the long side, but towards the downside. You can see rejecting the VWAP here and just selling down nicely. Pull back right back to the VWAP again, and then right back down some more. So that was AMD yesterday. QCOM was one of the great trades yesterday. I mean, this thing got so extended. I didn't get a chance to get in. I was concerned of getting in here once it was so extended after this big drop on the 5-minute candle. So what we have here, this is what we call an engulfing crack in our chat room, in our one of the strategies we trade. You see here, it pops up. The next candle completely engulfs the previous candle. In this case, the body and the wick as well. This is usually a good reversal, a strong reversal signal, and you can see it worked out pretty nice, leaving VWAP nicely, heading all the way down to its moving average. You got a small pullback here, and it's tough to get in here. Here for a 15-minute, I believe, right, 940. That should be 940. Actually, for a 10-minute for a continuation of the breakdown here, that's a tough trade to take because you're so extended. You could expect a pullback. So I did not jump in there, but it still was very weak and continued to sell off nicely. So just QCOM not finding a bottom, hitting all these levels and continuing to sell off. Andrew and a lot of you guys had an amazing trade here yesterday on QCOM. So yesterday was one of the days that it traded very, very well. It was really clean. The spread was nice. It didn't trade like it usually does, where it can be choppy and the spread very large. Yesterday was the spread at most was like 2 to 5 cents. So that was very, very good. AVRO took off here. I didn't watch the price action on this one. I think this might have been one that I took off my list, but the volume died down big time. Although, yeah, it looks nice now. It looks like it has a nice little trend, but the volume was horrible on it. It had this nice pop here, and then it just kind of died down. It wasn't really pretty clean there. CSX was also another one that took a nice dump here. I mean, it just dumped all the way down, crossing all these levels as well. It was a beautiful loss of VWAP right in this area. I saw some really good trades getting into this area around here once it couldn't get and stay above VWAP. So it turned out to be an amazing short to break the low of the day at this time. Look what we had. We had this level already in our pre-market, 72.30. Once it got there, it came down, tested it first, almost a test right here on the first low of the day. One more retest, and then comes back to it and it just completely fails all the way down, guys. Look at this, all the way down to the level we had on the daily, 70.64. Then loses that, kind of finally finds a bottom, heads back up towards VWAP for a good reversal here, kind of a double bottom on this area here. So another one that traded very well if you were able to get in a good entry close to VWAP. Or even if you play the reversal on this one, if you did a double bottom, tests this 70 level twice, and then it heads back up. So this was the one I traded, Ericsson, Eric, ERIC. I got in for a 5-minute open range breakdown here. Took some off here, and for some reason I mismanaged this trade. I got out here, and this week faked me out. We were live on this at this time. Brian and I trading in the chat room. This was when Andrew had to reset his system, but for some reason I got out here well above my break-even point. Again, it just made no sense for that to happen, and then I paid the price. As you can see, it continues to drop nicely all the way down to 845. So again, didn't move a lot, but it's a lower price stock, so you can take a little more shares because you can manage your risk properly. Again, keep your risks set, and then you can take a little more shares. Just don't try to go crazy trying to overpower the stock because there's a lower price by taking too much shares, right? You got to keep in mind your risk management. So that was that one. Roku also sold off nice. I love the trade that Brian took on this one. It bounced when it was bouncing off this moving average. He waited for the consolidation. Then on this candle, I believe it was this one or this one, not sure, don't recall which one. He called it for a long, got in for a long. He was expecting the pop bounce of this moving average, and right to VWAP it went. He took everything some off here, and then the rest out once it was not going to continue any higher. But even here, if you were looking at this for a short, if you had a 5-minute open range breakdown, or if you saw the engulfing crack breakdown here, this is the reversal pattern we talk about, where the next candle completely overpowers the previous candle's body. That's a good entry for a short. Loses VWAP, and then it hits down even lower. You get another pullback here. This could have stopped you out on this position depending on what your entry was. Another pullback here, cannot hold VWAP, and right back down. That could have been a great short. And then again, just couldn't hold above VWAP. Here's another opportunity for a short as well, heading back down towards the bottom. So Roku traded well yesterday, very clean, weaker than I expected it to be, but a lot of the stocks sold off yesterday also with the SPY. This was Tesla. Now, I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of engulfing crack patterns showing up in the morning. Here's another one towards the opposite side, right? So you got your opening range here where you could count the wick as well if you like. On this candle, completely powers all the way through. Look at the volume coming in. Here's a good indication once it goes above you, I have to take it for a long, say your stop loss below this moving average, right? That's the engulfing crack we're talking about. The next candle completely engulfs the previous one. And this is more powerful at the open, right? At the open is the best time to take this trade. Later on in the day, it could become pretty choppy and you're not going to get the same momentum. The key thing here, guys, and I know we're digressing a little bit talking about strategies. The key thing here is things move so fast because you got the most volume right at the open. Your stop loss has to be set and it has to be executed the minute it's here. You cannot play around here because if it goes the other way, it's going to be aggressive just because the type of volume it is and the type of range that you're opening up here, right? You're making a nice big range here. You want to be very careful with that. Takes off nicely, makes a new high here, consolidates around this moving average, this level that we had, 256.66. Look how it goes right to it. I'm not sure if that was the high of the pre-market. It could have been, but let's just go check. Yeah, it looks like the high of the pre-market. You got a slow down momentum, then you get another nice pop here all the way almost to 258. So Tesla traded well, and then throughout the day, although it seemed very choppy in this area here just gives some really nice moves. It's giving you a little nice some really extreme moves here. If you were timing it correctly, you got a few tops, you could have played it for a short, and you got some few bottom consolidation, you could have played for a long. So depending how you trade and your strategy, Tesla gave you some good opportunities. FARN, this was again beautiful pre-market action. IB has shares for short, and Brian took this for a short in here and got the majority of this move. I mean, that's always a great call for him on FRAN. I did not have shares for short, but this was an amazing move towards the downside and never really recovered after that. Here was a little concerning because it was consolidating. And usually these type of stocks, when they consolidate like this, they tend to pop up and squeeze people. But quite the opposite happened here. It just continued to sell off and never came back up. So that is what we had yesterday, guys. Let's go into the SPY and some of the news for this morning and what we have going on. Take it away, Norm.
Yeah, SPY's relatively flat, just ever so slightly red this morning. Nothing really going on with it. Jobless claims came out at 8:30 Eastern 15 minutes ago. They were pretty much as expected. Got durable goods orders and CapEx. Nothing's really moved the market substantially that's come out so far. So that's bulk of the economic data coming out today. Got a number of companies reporting. I believe there's 50 some odd companies, and then we really are going to bump that number up next week. So several of the movers that are on our list we'll be talking about are moving on earnings. Netflix, one of them, their subscribers really is their subscriber growth is the main metric people look at them, and that's caused them to already come down about 11% this morning. So we'll surely get into that. Things already moved $39. So anyway, that's it's kind of quiet this morning. That's about all the news I've got for you right now.
Sweet. All right, guys, let's get into it here. Let's remove this watch list from yesterday, and we'll get into our gappers and see what's going on today. Let's make some columns in this area. All right, perfect. All right, so let's start over here with NVS. So NVS is very large flow here, 2.3 billion shares float. So very large one here. Looks like we had looked at it in the past because I do have some levels here, maybe on a day that was gapping up or down. But daily chart looks very funky here. This is looks like a foreign stock. Not sure what company this is.
Yeah, it's a Swiss. It's Novartis. It's a Swiss pharmaceutical company.
There we go. So again, that's what the daily chart looks nasty. And the reason why these daily charts are not great to trade is because it's very hard to find very clean defined levels. And that's important for us because as we're trading, these levels help us determine if we're going to get, any kind of resistance, support that can help us make decision on getting in, getting out, taking profits, and so forth. So right now, pre-market action, it's okay, not great, but that's expected on a on a stock that trades like this. Is this kind of buyout or something, Norm, or what do we have going on with this one?
No, they had earnings this morning and they really kicked some. They
Mm.
really kicked some butt on them. So they're up 5.5% essentially.
Okay, gotcha. So up quite a bit here. They're right now 283,000 shares traded. Pre-market activity not looking too great, but it's early, so let's give it a chance to develop here a little more. We do have some levels. Even on this is a foreign stock. That I do see some levels here that are pretty fairly clean. In here we can also find some stuff as well, and we can see what this does today. Hopefully today, because it has some news on it and some earnings, we can get a nice move out of it, right? Usually for the most part, you can see in here these types of moves are very small, a lot of gaps between the days. Is not very clean. ATR of $1.15, which is a little bit lower on the okay side for a stock that trades at around 95 bucks. Not too bad. We just needed to move in one direction or the other. STSV is down 3.5, 104,000 shares traded so far. The float on this one is 20 million shares flow, so it's on the lower side, but not really too low flow. It could be tradable, could be manageable. At the moment, this daily chart is horrible though. If you look at it in here again, just very choppy, guys. It's not clean at all over the last couple of days. Hasn't had a very good trading, and it usually that's how it trades. Here you have it. Here's a little better. With between February and April, maybe May, you can see a little more nicer flow to it, right? It's got some range, it's got some good candles, but the last couple of days it has not been trading very well. So today we're gapping down. Had a nice red day yesterday, finally leaving these levels it had here. Looks like so nice big drop yesterday, and today we're gapping down another 3.5. Pre-market activity not looking too exciting, just barely cracking over 100,000 units. Any news on this one, Norm, this morning?
Yeah, this one's moving on word of a secondary, so
Okay.
I won't have it on my list.
Yeah, yeah. So it could be a little tougher to trade on this, but again, the pre-market action is not looking too great at the moment. Next, we have SAP. SAP is very difficult to trade. This is one of those stocks that does not trade clean at all. Look at the daily. This is from experience and looking at this stock closely. Again, just very choppy action on the daily chart. But today they're down 6.2, so that's quite a bit. What's going on there?
Once again, same thing as Novartis. It's on earnings, but it's a German company.
Yep, yep. So this is down quite a bit, guys, today. But again, my experience with SAP, it just doesn't trade clean at all. So we'll see. We'll come back to it, but that's one that I'm not too excited about. AMRN, we have looked at this one in the past and traded in the past. AMRN. This one is down 7.5 right now, 152,000 shares traded. Where's my charts? Here we go. All right, so pre-market action looking okay, not great. Just doesn't seem as clean as we would like to see it, and that could be because the volume is only 153,000. I unfortunately do not have shares for sure. This looks like it's ready to head towards some of these levels we have down here, some of these moving averages. It is down 7.5 this morning after a nice run. Had a nice run since late June. Late June started popping up nicely. I had a very big day on this day here. It's a good continuation. Looks like it got toppy here and then just started heading right back down, losing this gap that it did back a couple of days. Was it July 2nd, and then right back down here to an area. I like the levels that I have here. I gotta say the daily does look clean here. You got a nice level right where the price action is now, so you got a lot of levels here that are very clean. This is the difference between a nice clean daily chart and ones that are like SAP. See, how can you find levels in here, right? This is just nasty. So again, this daily chart, you can clearly see, without even noting some of these levels, you can clearly see the areas of where you have some pivot points, right? Oh, that's too big. Right, you got one here. You can clearly see the change in direction in some other areas where it gets retested several times. This is what makes a good level, guys. When you have a lot of days, a lot of areas being retested over and over again for support and resistance. Norm, on this one here, this is a nice big drop on them after running up. What's the issue with them today?
This one's on news of a secondary offering as well.
As well, okay. So we'll check that out. Right now, I don't have shares for sure, so might not make my list, but it will be interesting to watch what it does here today. And then Netflix here, down quite a bit, guys. I mean, this thing, as Norm was saying, this thing is down huge today, down 10%. at the moment. Really just blew through all these levels we'd had here. This is a higher price stock trading at 323. So again, a drop of 10% is quite a bit. So any besides anything that you mentioned earlier, anything additional you want like to add to this one?
No, I mean, I'll just add some color to that. Is there, really they're judged on, it's a growth stock. They're judged on their growth. Their global subscriber increase it fell like 47% short of what analysts expected. So just completely walloped.
Yeah, no,
And that's what's hitting it like that.
Yeah, this is pretty aggressive here. I saw Roku also. Because when I saw this earlier, I looked at Roku to see what was that doing. Maybe they're taking their business, but they're down too quite a bit. They're down.
I think Roku. Yeah, Roku looks like it might be a little bit of a sentimental move on this. On this, not only has it had a massive run up and some profit taking, but it draws and this is. Kind of a distant relative of the business I used to be in television advertising and digital advertising space. And, so Roku is supposed to be, the next step of subscribers and everything else. And Netflix is a subscriber-based company. So there are some ties there, and likely what's hitting Roku just a little bit.
Gotcha, man. Well, now that we're talking about Roku, let's just quickly get into your top 4 this morning. So we have Nvidia, we have Facebook, and we'll get into Apple. What do you like this morning?
I've got my eye on Roku to see what it does with this move, and then also Apple got an analyst upgrade either last night, I think it was last night, or early this morning, got an analyst upgrade based on 5G and rollout of a 5G phone next year. So, I'll have my eye on those two specifically to see what happens with them. Nvidia is kind of coming into an area. If you look on a daily,
yeah, daily looks good.
Let me fix my chart here. The daily, it's kind of been consolidating into a wedge, and it's possibly breaking out right up against the 200 moving average. So it's kind of an interesting spot here, right around 170.
Yeah, I
see what it does and how it reacts to that moving average.
And you got that moving average coming in. You got the previous day closing, tons of levels towards the bottom. Another moving average slowly creeping up. So Nvidia is going to be interesting over the next couple of days. Might not be today, but it'll be a good one to watch because the bounce on this has been really nice, going from 130ish, 132 all the way up to 170 in a couple of days, or in a month or two. Again, just right back up to where some of the levels that it fell off without no breaks here. This thing just dropped.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, so if you pull back on Nvidia a little bit on the daily chart and you look at about 18 months or so, you can see that it was flying high up around 300 or close to it, and then once it lost the 200-day moving average, it just plummeted all the way down to, I believe, like 124ish was the low it hit right around Christmas, and then it bounced back hard, came back, almost. I know there's some movement up and down there, but just incredible gains from Christmas Eve to April, early May, when it started to fall again, pulled back into the 130s, and then it's already back at that moving average. So you can see that April-May time frame, how it just completely got close to that 200 and rejected it. So I've really got an eye out here to see how it reacts when it gets around this moving average.
Yeah, this is gonna be nice to watch today and over the next couple of days. So Facebook also seems interesting as well on the daily. Not much going on right now, but that also seems a good one also. All right, folks, so that's Norm's top 4. Let's get into our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. NYMT, this is nasty, 4.7 million shares traded, but you can see it's really not tradable, not really going anywhere. If you look at the action, this is clearly just algos, going back and forth, scalping pennies here and there. Here's another one, CODX. CODX we looked at in the past. Let's go back here. Yeah, see, we have some, must have been clearly on this day here. We had a huge gap, popped up a couple of dollars here, 1 or 2, and then just a nice sell-off. You can see the volume right down here. So today, what do we have? So today we have 3.7 million shares. Wow, this is trading quite a bit, very active. Up 110%. The float on this one, if I remember, wasn't ideal. Actually, not that bad. 15.6. So 15.6. It is a low float though. You got to be very careful trading this one. But for the low float team, this looks like the one that is active today. So we are going to throw this one in here. It's got good volume. It's got great volume. It's just, is it going to hold this moving average and trade nicely for the low flow team this morning? TRNX is one that trades horrible. We looked at it plenty of times. Penny stock. We'll skip this one. FISV. I know we looked at this in the past. Yeah, I remember the ticker. Today, not much going on though. It has a million. It looks like a block trade. Several block trades actually. You got it. Just seeing it right here, right on the top. You got tons of block trades going back and forth. That's what's causing this to pop up here. But not really nothing happening, so not really tradable. Eric was in play yesterday for sure, although this stock didn't move much. It sold off for the entire day yesterday. Very nice. Today is gapping up 1.4. The issue with this one, it doesn't move much, right? And right now the pre-market activity is not looking great. It has traded 922,000 shares, but it looks like a lot of it has been on some really big block trades right in here. So not really creating a good price activity for us to watch this morning. So we'll skip that one. Netflix, we have AETI. Looks like a penny stock, so we'll skip this one. SFED, I know we looked at this one in the past. 791,000 today so far, up 14.7. But this really trades like a penny stock, guys. Look at the daily, how nasty this is, right? I don't recall what the flow is, but we have checked this one before. So yes, a very, very low flow. 2 million shares float on this one, but look at just the daily chart alone. It's nasty. And the pre-market action is not great neither. So trading much like a penny stock. We'll skip this one. AMD's got some. So now this is what we usually see from AMD. It's got some really good activity today. 701,000 shares traded so far, and we're just hitting 9 a.m. this morning. So kind of shows that the type of action you get out of AMD. They are down 1.1 this morning. But definitely they are very, very active, kind of recovering a bit. It came down all the way. Look at this level here, 32.64, low of the pre-market right at 32.65. So clearly buyers are stepping in at this level and bringing this back up towards this moving average here. We have our levels all the way up here as well, which look very good. I like the way AMD is moving in the pre-market. We're going to put that down today. It's got some good activity going on. TVIS, the volatility index, pretty much flat. SPY is pretty much flat as well, so not much going on there. CODS we looked at. TRHC, not much going on, only 5,000 shares traded. OTLK, also not much going on, 296,000 shares traded so far. But the pre-market action, I mean, the activity is just, this is just hard. We don't want to trade this. Next, SFED we looked at. ACTS, 300,000 shares traded, up 11%. But just look at this, just not really clean, not tradable. GNCA, nothing going on. INSG, also nothing happening there. MBRX, horrible, even with that 300,000 shares traded. FUV, 320, less, nothing there. eBay. And eBay, what's going on with eBay? Let's look at the daily chart from eBay.
eBay released earnings last night, and they're popping on this. It should hit our scanners here pretty soon. It'll hit 100,000 in the next few minutes.
Yeah, so eBay looks interesting. I like this. This daily chart, the way it's setting up. You clearly stuck within a consolidation here, or a range, better said. Got a range right in here, just ping-ponging itself back and forth. Drops right down to this level here of 39, and then we got the slingshot move today. We got the slingshot move here, up 5.4. This is definitely worth watching this morning. Volume is starting to creep in. Not a great pre-market activity, but the daily is interesting, the way the daily is setting up here. So eBay is worth taking a look at, even if we put it down into our secondary list for a possible later this morning. And that is what we have. Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers, guys. Let's see what you have on your list. What do you like this morning? Let's go over here to OTLK. We looked at, guys. Doesn't look great. Just going back here, look at this daily, right? This daily, that just doesn't look too interesting. It trades more like a penny stock, really. So it's got some volume, so up 15%. But look at this pre-market action. And let's see. We got a little bit of time. Let's go back to see how it trades, right? Let's see how it traded yesterday. I mean, yesterday, this is the type of stuff you don't want to trade, even if it has volume today. Obviously, clearly no volume yesterday. even with the volume today, you just really don't want to stay away from this this type of stocks. So eBay, we have IBM. I never traded IBM, but I do hear from other traders that it does not trade very clean. No, I'm not sure if you have any experience with this one, right?
It really doesn't. I mean, it's just kind of the story of these, old blue chip stocks, and it usually, unless it really has a catalyst, it won't. It doesn't move that well.
Yeah, so I'm not going to watch this one just because I know that it doesn't trade very well based on what I'm hearing from a lot of people. URI, and right now it doesn't have a great volume, only 50,000 shares traded. UIR, 31,000 shares traded. I do like the daily. I can see what you're looking at, this drop here right below this moving averages, so that's interesting. Down 6.1 right now, not much volume, which is okay, right? Sometimes the volume is not great, but at the open, especially in these type of stocks that are nicey stocks, at the open they can get some kind of movement one way or the other. The price action right now is sitting right on this level right here of somewhat support. You see resistance here, support there, you got support on these days, and then you got some resistance overall on these days right here. So daily looks interesting, but right now, guys, there's not a lot of activity going on, and the pre-market actually is not looking great, not much volume. Next we have Teva. Teva traded nice a couple of days ago, had a really nice drop here. I remember trading this one. Today looks like it's bouncing back a bit from this level of $7.80. I'm not sure if that's the all-time low. I believe it is, but I'm not going to go back and check it because right now it doesn't look too clean in regards to pre-market activity. It does have 225,000 shares traded, guys, but again, it's pretty flat at the moment and not looking too active right now, but it could be a good possible to watch later on based on the daily, right? Because the daily is clearly showing some support being built here. You can possibly get a bounce back to a 60 or some of these moving averages if it can get above this previous day close, because right here you're going to have a lot of resistance here. You see all these levels, the lows and highs of 2 days ago plus the previous day close around 820. It's not going to be easy to crack with no volume and momentum. So eBay, MS, let's look at MS. eBay we looked at. eBay we have MS at the moment is not looking too good pre-market action wise. Yeah, MS is not looking too great, guys, right now. It does have some volume, 212,000 shares traded. It is down quite a bit. I'm not sure if this is reporting or just moving down because
yeah, they had earnings this morning, but once again, we talked about it yesterday and maybe even the day before. These bank stocks, financials, with the exception of a few of them, rarely trade very well or easily, especially these big money center kind of these big banks. Excuse me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, WFC, we got blessed with a nice trading on WFC a couple of days ago, but overall, JP Morgan, Bank of America, especially that one, I don't even trade no more. It's just the few times I trade it, it's frustrating. It doesn't move. So
you can sit in it all day for 20 cents.
Yeah, no, it's just frustrating. So I stay away from these guys. Same thing with this one with Morgan Stanley. So we'll skip that one. BTI, and then we look at EFC. BTI is a foreign stock. Yeah, this is a foreign stock. Doesn't trade very well. Look at this nasty daily chart here. Again, just not really clean. Unless there's any crazy news, guys, this really is not a stock you want to watch. It's very difficult to find levels. And if you look at the intraday, I'm not going to look into it now because we're running out of time. But if you look at the intraday trade, you can see how choppy it can be and how nasty it trades. And then another one here, ECF. ECF also just not looking too great on the daily, and the pre-market activity is not looking too good neither. You can see here it's just very, very choppy at the moment. So let's not get fooled by this one. 155,000 shares traded. It is down 3.1. That's all great, but right now pre-market action wise not looking great. Does it mean that this cannot open up and drop a dollar or two? Well, it doesn't look like it moved that much, right? This here is 1773 and 7, and down here 1747. So that doesn't move neither, so a lot. So the ATR's got to be really small on this stock, I'm assuming. It could happen. It could give you a great move, but you can't watch everything, so you got to give yourself the best possible opportunity to watch 3 to 4 or 6, whatever your number is, of some really good stocks. So AMD we have. I think AMD is going to be good. URI guidance lowered. And on interesting daily. Oh yeah, UIRI. Yeah, it has an interesting daily chart. I did mention that. It's got some levels on here. Low volume, as you mentioned, David. I agree. But yeah, I'm with you guys. The daily on this one does look very, very interesting. If this one pops up into our scanners, we can definitely tune into it. All right, CURLF. Is that what kind of stock is that? Usually when this has five letters, what is it, Norm? It tends to be a something for that.
Garbage.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I don't got no action on this one, guys, so I'm not sure what that is. CRSP, we'll do a few more, then we'll get into some levels. CRSP, no activity, no volume at the moment, so we'll skip that one. All right, thank you. So Teva, it is all-time low. Okay, so Teva is at all-time low, which could make it interesting. Could make it interesting, that 780-ish area. All right, guys, we got quite a bit. Let's get into some announcements, and then we'll get into some levels.
Carlos, I'm going to blow through these real fast because I know we're running a little bit behind.
Yep.
So
thank you, man.
Tonight we've got the next in our series of the Ask Me Anythings on YouTube. This one will be also streamed on Facebook Live, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be myself and Eamon. So we look forward to taking your questions there. Next Lifetime webinar is July 25th, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern as well. Carlos, I believe you have a full slate of classes next week. Is that correct?
That is correct. 1 through 5 next week.
Awesome. 2 meetups coming up, July 27th in Pasadena. Please check the forum post or our Bear Bull Traders Facebook page for the info on that. And the also tagged onto the back end of that meetup is Phoenix on August 2nd. Once again, different forum posts for that one and a Facebook event. So please RSVP there. Excuse me. The end of this month is coming our chat with Dr. Brett Steenbarger, world-renowned trading psychologist and author. Please post your questions for him on our forum. There is a post set up so that we can organize it and make the most out of that event. I think that is it, other than 2 just housekeeping items. Once again, you guys have been really good about it, but please keep non-directly trading-related questions or comments to the off-topic tab so that we can have a clean main chat for actual trading ideas, setups, so on and so forth. And then if you're watching us on YouTube for the first, or watching us on YouTube and you have not been in the chat where we live trade during the day after we shut this down, Andrew comes on, Brian, myself, Peter, Williams trade reviews. I know that
Brian swing trades on Mondays.
Brian Swede trades on Mondays. Kurt is easing himself into the chat, into the talking on the mic. So come trade with us live in the chat room. You can do it at a reduced rate with a promo code premarket24. There's no spaces. It is premarket24. And that is all I got.
Excellent, guys. All right, 9:10 Eastern time. So let's get through this watch list here. Let's find some levels and see what we're going to keep and what we're going to move out of the way. So let's start with NVS. So right now, 400,000 shares traded. Let's look at the pre-market activity. Again, just not great given the volume that is trading, but it is worth watching today. I mean, it's up 5.1, and we got some clean levels that I like here. So high of the pre-market sitting at 936, 938 to be exact. I'm sorry, 95.38. The low of the pre-market sitting at 92.90, so mark that down. I'm also going to mark this here, this daily when this popped, 93.67. So I'm going to mark that down. Let's go back and see if we can find something towards the top. This one is a foreign stock, so the daily chart is not as great. And it's very difficult to find levels on these stocks when they're foreign. But this one, I think we're able to find some good levels towards the top because we do have some areas where it hasn't been at in a while. You can see here on this pop over here, it kind of came up here and right back down. So it gives us an opportunity to find levels. But when you're stuck in this situation here, very difficult to find clean levels in this type of trading here on this daily. So given the pop today, I think it changes things a little bit. There's some news on it, so we can see if this news is strong enough to get this moving one way or the other at the open. It is a NYSE stock, so be aware of that. Usually NYSE stocks don't have the best pre-market action, but if they are in play at the open, you're going to get one move one way or the other. So here we have FTSV. STSV right now still not great on the volume. I do like the drop. I do like the daily. Here again, we lost these levels as we mentioned earlier. We had a nice red day yesterday, and now we're trying to put in a bounce from this $8, which is the low here. So $8 is the low of the pre-market. I'm just going to go back and see if I find something towards the bottom. Are we all-time low? Do we have anything else down there? Just give it. Oh, that is all-time low. So now that even makes it a little more interesting as well. So all-time low here on FTSV. Volume's got to get better, and the pre-market action's got to get a little better. And I think that's part due to the volume not being great. So down 3%. I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market sitting at 858, and then towards the top you got plenty of levels. So no levels down here, as this is the all-time low, and then you have plenty of levels here between the pre-market, the previous day close, and the high of this morning and the low of yesterday, obviously right at the pre-market close. Previous day close, I mean, and then you have some other levels going above this all the way down, all the way up to the high of yesterday. You can mark down also the when this day closed here, 940, mark that down. And I'm also going to mark down the $9 mark, because usually at the whole dollar you are going to get some kind of a loss of momentum. People might start taking profits. That could be an area you want to be on the lookout for. So that's what we have on FTSV. SAP, I might not keep this one, guys. It just trades very nasty. Doesn't trade very clean. I do love this drop, though, 5.4. That's a lot for a stock trading in the 130s. So I'm going to mark down 124, 125, the low of the pre-market. High of the pre-market sitting at 127.63. Above this is a foreign stock, so the daily chart's not going to be great, but you can clearly see a bounce off 130.67 on the way down, and you can also see on these 2 days where we kind of test that a little bit there. But again, it is a foreign stock, so you want to be careful. These levels are not great because again, just look at the way it trades. Look at the choppiness, right? Not clean, not clean, nice wave. Doesn't have a nice flow to it. That's what we like to see in the daily chart and in the pre-market activity as well. We have a level towards the bottom here sitting at 122.89. So I have my level set. I'm not going to watch this one, but if it goes on some kind of turbo breakdown, turbo breakup alert, I am going to tune into it and see what's going on there. AMRN is looks good for short. I don't have shares for short with CMAG this morning. High of the pre-market sitting at 1965. Low of the pre-market, what is this? We're sitting at 1925. So we'll mark that down. So a few levels on here. So we can see you got this one towards the top here at around 1995. You have a moving average very close to the previous day close. I'm not going to mark it. 21 seems to be a nice area of support that we had a couple of days ago, actually yesterday, and over here as well when we did the gap. So we lost it this morning. Towards the bottom, if we can lose the previous day, the low of the pre-market, which we're on it right now, you can see this moving average coming up as well. Trying to find something very clean. Looks like right here, I do like this 1876, 1880 area. You can see several days using it as resistance, support. Again, it's got a resistance here and then support as well. So that 1876 looks good. And then towards the bottom of that, you clearly have this one over here around 17, 18 bucks. You have another one clearly here. You got several days bouncing off of that and several days using it as resistance as well. Plenty of levels for AMRN. Right now, pre-market action is starting to get going. You can see some volume coming in. Hopefully, we can get the ramp here. We want to see the ramp and see the volume stay steady. 200,000 shares traded so far and down 8.4. So again, I like the daily. I like this drop. We have traded this one before. When it is in play, look at the volume. It does trade very clean. So hopefully, we can get that type of day today. Netflix is one that's really down today, down 10%, almost 11. That's for this type of stock. That's a huge drop. We do have the low of the pre-market sitting at 318 with 93 cents. High of the pre-market 325.42. So we'll mark those two down here. The next level towards the top in the recent times has been this one here. This 336. You have a moving average also right on there. That's a 200-day moving average. We're gonna go back and find some levels. Look how this low of the pre-market. Just gonna zoom in here, guys, so you can see this. So look how this low of the pre-market right now was support and resistance a couple of months ago, right? We have it right here back in January as resistance, and then became support before it went on this little run here all the way to 375. So if we can lose that, I see that another one on here down at 312. You can see right on here on this day we can mark down 312, and then the next one will be this day over here heading down to 303.61. I don't think we'll drop that much today, but again, it all depends on how people react to this news at the open. Pre-market action for this type of stock is actually looking pretty clean, guys. This is a very clean pre-market action. You have a lot of movement here. You have some really good volume, a million shares traded so far. So then this is looking good. I expect that it might be choppy at the open, so be very careful. Wait for it to settle in. Wait for your strategy to show up. Just don't try to take this off the bat just because the volume is going to be there. So just wait for it to settle down. Let's see which way it's going to trade, and then take an opportunity. AMD, also a lot of volume today, 741, down quite a bit, but I do like the daily on AMD. Very nice bounce over 32.64. In case it heads back down, let's find a level towards the bottom. Clearly right here, 32.15. I like this one. You got support from the moving average, and you got support from these 2 days where it was resistance back in early July. So mark that down. You can also see right on here how that level is playing as support and resistance over a couple of days back in beginning of June. So AMD looks good on the daily. We'll look at MU before after we look at eBay. eBay's daily looks great because it just broke out of this range, right? The volume right now is not great. It is a 4.4, 5.4, but what I like about this one is that it broke out of that range. I might not keep it depending on what Brian and the other moderators are watching. If they're watching something that's cleaner and better, I'll probably remove this one. But I do like the way this is setting up. Hopefully it can get some volume and some movement. So low of the pre-market 40.75, high of the pre-market 40.21. And if we go back up, well, back to see what we have, any levels towards the top, which I believe we should, because I know at one point eBay was just on fire. Here we have, yep, so we have a nice level here at 43. And I'm going to mark down this one here also at 42.16. I'll explain why. So 43, obviously, because you have this run up all the way up to 43, tested it here, back down, test this one more time, and then right back down. 42, you can see here several days acted as support, then resistance are on this area here. And then on these drops, you can see where the loss of momentum or the change in direction happens around 42.16. So I like that area for eBay this morning. So that's what we have on eBay. Towards the bottom, again, guys, we have plenty. We just put in the low of the pre-market at 40.73, and then towards the bottom, you have this entire range of highs and lows and moving averages right between, I want to say 40 and around 39. So plenty of levels down here. I don't think you need to add any more towards the bottom. All right, guys, so that is what we have. I'm gonna check on MU, see what MU is doing this morning. MU's got some volume, 196. Pre-market activity not looking great, but the daily on MU is interesting, guys. I think we might be putting in a nice little bounce, hopefully a run up to this 45 level. So I'm gonna have my eyes on MU because with this type of daily chart, we can get a good movement out of it. Removed our levels from yesterday. I'm just going to keep 45.26 up here. We can also mark down 44.68 if you wanna have another level in between there, because that's a big run up. 45.26. I don't think we'll get there today. But 44.68, if we can break out of this 44, right? This 44 has been again resistance here, and now support. Actually, no, just resistance really overall. Resistance here, and also we'll see today what it does if it gets to that area. So looking really good on MU on the daily. Hopefully can keep up this nice trade that it has done the last couple of days. MU has been trading just really nice. Look at these nice big candles here with some good volume on a really nice uptrend. So that is what we have, guys. Here is our list. Let's look at CODX for the low flow team. See what's happening here on CODX. Again, it's got some good volume. 4.4 million shares traded right now, up 111%. So it seems like to be holding these moving averages. Again, guys, we don't usually trade low flows or even focus on them. So wait for a good opportunity, maybe a fallen angel strategy. But overall, the most important thing on this type of stocks is, manage your risk accordingly, right? Don't get excited because it's $1.89. Think about how much you can lose, not how much you can make. Very important. Think about how much you can lose, right? So if your risk is $100 a day, know where your stop has to be, maybe here, whatever the stop has to be, and then take your number of shares based on what your risk is going to be, right? We teach this in class 5, which we'll have next week. Very important. Think about how much can I lose? How much do I want to pay to find out if this trade is going to work? All right, guys, that is all we have. Take care, trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow, Friday, 8:30 Eastern time. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Thanks for joining us.